right, welcome Patriots Ribbit to an explosive edition of the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi coming to you live from just outside of a mostly peaceful Chicago. And folks, we're streaming in millions worldwide on YouTube, Rumble, and X simultaneously. And the big news today, I got a haircut. Long overdue. And while you're watching right now, do America a favor. Grab your phone and text the stream to everybody that you know. Let's bypass big tech's algorithms together. And for our ex-viewers, hit that repost button and spread this truth to your followers right now. Today marks week 20 of Donald Trump's return to the White House, and what a week it has been. But before we dive into today's explosive revelations, I want you, the viewers, to know what sets us apart from every other show out there. We don't just talk at you, we talk with you. Your reactions, your comments, your thoughts in that live chat, they are part of the show. So fire away in the comments right now. Right meow. Right meow. Right meow. Before we officially begin the show. And if you want to support our independent journalism, right meow, it tells the truth, check out those donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us fight the mainstream media's propaganda machine. Or better yet, show off your favorite news source with our exclusive merch at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and let the world know you stand with real news. In fact, we have just dropped a new shirt, long overdue. I don't think we have a picture of it. Maybe I could find one real quick. Let me just see where it is. At shop, S-H-O-P dot next, no, not Bext, next news. There it is. Shop. No, come on now. Just give me that. Just go there. Go and do your thing. .com. Okay, let's see if we can show you the shirt. Go, gadget cell phone. Loading. Okay, here it is. Let's see. And you get your real-time reactions on screen. Where is it? Yeah, it should be at the top. But hey, I don't even see it here now. Really, dude? Good Lord. This is embarrassing. Somewhere. President Autopen. Here it is. It's got a side view. Who does that? A side view? You can't even see the shirt. How does this shop decide what, like, really? Okay, here we go. There we go. There it is. Autopen. President Autopen in chief. How's that? That actually was inspired by somebody in the comments of one of our videos. I'm like, oh, I am making that into a t-shirt. President Autopen in chief, because signatures matter more than presidents. That is our new shirt. We just dropped it in the merch shop. If you want to support that, go right ahead. I think it's hilarious. Okay. And speaking of standing for the truth, we're reading your super chats and your Rumble rants between segments today, featuring them on screen for the world to see. So if you've got something to say, send it in. Your voice absolutely matters here. And you know what else matters? Knowing our history. On this day, June 11th, back in 1963, President John F. Kennedy faced down Governor George Wallace at the University of Alabama, using federal authority to enforce desegregation while Wallace literally stood in the schoolhouse door. Does it sound familiar? Well, today we've got another Democrat governor defying federal law, except this time it's Gavin Newsom, protecting violent criminal illegals instead of blocking civil rights. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme, doesn't it? Speaking of history in the making, you can grab your channel memberships, Patriots. Each level comes with its own perks, special acknowledgement in the chat, exclusive access to the Next News team, and behind-the-scenes content, and of course, our members-only 24/7 Discord chat, where you can join the fight for truth. Now, today's show is packed with bombshells that'll make your head spin. We're exposing how Joe Biden's presidency was hijacked by radical left operatives using an Autopen. Yes, to sign executive orders while Biden sat there clueless. Trump himself calls it a crime against the country. We're going to show you the chaos erupting in Los Angeles as foreign-backed rioters throw Molotov cocktails at ICE agents, and how Trump's deployed the legendary War Dogs, the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, to restore order. These battle-hardened warriors from Fallujah, they're not playing any games. Plus, we're going to be revealing how Governor Newsom is actively protecting convicted killers, rapists, and people that do unspeakable things to children. He's protecting them from deportation while his state literally burns. John Voight absolutely destroys him in footage you have to see to believe. And here's some good news. Trump's one big, beautiful bill is about to put $1,300 back into your pocket with the largest middle-class tax cut in history. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and inflation is already plummeting. But the deep state isn't going down without a fight. They are organizing 1,500 protests across all 50 states, trying to manufacture their next crisis to frame Trump as a dictator. We've got the receipts on who's funding the riots, and the names will shock you. If you're not following us, though, on Rumble and X, what are you waiting for? The censorship hammer, it could drop at any moment, and you need multiple ways to stay connected to the truth. So this is your show. This is your voice. This is your fight for America. And I need to bring up the chat room. And we're going to expose these traitors together. So here we go. Let's welcome you to the show. But first, I need to send a message to Brian real quick before we start to welcome you guys. And hang on. Okay, who's here? Tony, Sabrina, Mark, R. Boyd, John, Zalex, Joe Oliveira, John Gardner, Piney Woods, Exposing Libtards. Who else is in the house? We've got Pothead Kenny here, Yeppers. We got Duty to Rebel, Gavin New Scumbag, John Gardner, that's good. Gavin New Scumbag. Lynn says, happy birthday. My birthday is actually not for a couple weeks. Jeremy Olson's using redacted for swear words. Oh, it's Karen's birthday. Happy birthday, Karen. Tom B420's here. Wing Walker is here. Susie Pole 2016. Jeremy Olson, and let's see, keep going back to the scroll. Lamb's Grace and Lynn Skontek. The gang is all here tonight. Rusty Bootknife, Kevin M, 888. Who else is here? I saw another name. There was one more name. I wanted to say it. It's 888 Kevin M. Oh, and Tony just dropped $5. What's up, Tony? Seems like the most crime in states that protect the illegals are blue states. Go red. $5 from Tony right out the gate. I'm going to fill up this Alex Jones was right jar before the night is through. That is your job. Well, my job is to get the news to you. So let's get to our first topic of the night. Before we do, though, we do have a trivia question. That's a new feature of the show. Which president's economic policies led to the largest peacetime expansion in U.S. history during the 1980s? Was it Jimmy Carter, A, B, Ronald Reagan, C, George H.W. Bush, or D, Gerald Ford? I'm going to say it was B. I'm leaning on B on this one. And I think you guys are already Yeah, in the polls, you guys are saying B at 80%. We're going to see how this turns out after the segment. And let's begin. America's economic revival is here, but the establishment doesn't want you to know the truth. While Democrats scream about inflation and recession and we're all going to die, President Trump's delivering historic wins that will transform your family's financial future forever. The numbers are in. They're absolutely devastating to the Biden narrative. And what you're about to see proves everything the media told you was a lie. Gas prices plummeting, inflation crushed, take-home pay skyrocketing, and the one big beautiful bill? It's about to unleash an economic boom unlike anything we've ever seen. But there is a catch. The radical left's trying to sabotage it all. The evidence is undeniable, so keep on watching. Now, here is the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That means $100,000 savings today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. You see it when you fill up, buy groceries, pay bills, prices up, dollar down. There is a simple way, though, to protect your savings with something real and something proven. It's gold, an asset that holds value over time. That's why I trust Noble Gold Investments. They support this program, and you need to support them and your finances because they make it simple to protect savings with physical gold or silver. No high-pressure sales, just honest guidance. So head to nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below, or call that number 877-646-5347. And when they pick up the phone, you tell Colin that Gary said hello. Remember, don't just protect your wealth, preserve its power. So here we go. The Biden economy is dead, thankfully. And Trump's revival is already delivering results that have Democrats in panic mode. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just dropped the bombshell today that is sending shockwaves through Washington. The One Big Beautiful Bill is set to become the largest tax cut for middle-class Americans in U.S. history. Watch now as she lays out exactly what's coming for American families. Now, this is not just some kind of campaign rhetoric. This is actual policy, and it's about to transform your financial future. Watch.
And once the One Big Beautiful Bill passes, our economy will boom like never before. This bill is the largest tax cut for middle-class Americans in history. The One Big Beautiful Bill gives a 15% tax cut to working Americans and families. We'll see increased take-home pay of $10,000 per year. The One Big Beautiful Bill expands the child tax credit to $2,500 for more than 40 million American families with children. And the One Big Beautiful Bill cuts taxes for overtime workers, saving them nearly $2,000 per year, and ends taxes on tips, saving tipped workers nearly $2,000 per year as well. All of these provisions are broadly popular with an overwhelming support from the American people. We need Republicans in Congress to finish the job and send the One Big Beautiful Bill back to President Trump's desk for his signature as soon as possible.
Finish the job. The numbers aren't abstractions. That's $10,000 more in your pocket every single year. And they are just getting started. But Trump isn't just making promises. He's already delivering results that prove his economic vision works. In an exclusive interview with Miranda Devine, the president revealed his true mission and why the establishment fears him so much. This is the man who is putting America first, not special interests. Watch.
In the scheme of all the presidents, you live among their ghosts here. How do you want to be seen?
I'd just like to be a great president. You know, things take weird turns. You end up in a war when you never thought you were going to win the war. But you end up in wars, and you end up in peace, and you end up in lots of different circumstances that you didn't know were going to happen. I'd just like to be a great president, do a great job for the people in the country.
I just want to be a great president who does a great job for the people. And that's what terrifies the swamp creatures who've been bleeding this country dry for decades. The proof, though, is in the numbers. And Economic Council Chair Steve Marin just obliterated the Democrats' inflation fear-mongering with cold, hard facts. Every single month since Trump took over, inflation has come in lower than expected. Not once, not twice, every single month. Watch.
Yeah, look, this is a great report, and it totally puts to rest those types of concerns because there's no evidence that inflation is anything of a concern right now. Indeed, the president has delivered lower than expected inflation every single month. since he took office. Every single month. Core inflation this month, 0.1%, below expectations of 0.3% for the month. So these are very significant beats. And every single month, gas prices go down. It's about 12% over the last year, but it's come down every month since the president took office. So he's delivering low inflation for Americans.
Gas prices down 12% and falling. Core inflation beaten down to just 0.1%. This is what competent leadership looks like. But Trump's economic revolution goes beyond just numbers. It's about restoring American values and ending the woke insanity that's been poisoning our families and our economy. In another stunning moment with Miranda Devine, Trump revealed how he's already transformed our military and society by crushing the woke agenda that was destroying American productivity. Watch.
We have a great military. There's no woke in our military. I got rid of that.
Yeah.
Getting rid of woke in our schools, our military, and just in our society was very important. That's one of the things I did. People, you're not seeing woke anymore.
No.
You're seeing it. It almost became illegal.
Yes.
It was horrible for this country. It was a curse on our country.
And all it took was for you to just say it's rubbish. Yeah.
That's it. It was rubbish. It was garbage. It was sick.
Yeah.
Transgender for everyone. All of this stuff. And it was killing our country. No, our country's back. We're really back. You know, we have the hottest country in the world right now.
We're the hottest country in the world. We're back, baby. No more woke garbage in our military, our schools, or our boardrooms. Just pure American excellence driving our economy forward. But of course, Chuck Schumer and his Chinese puppet masters are desperately trying to stop the one big beautiful bill with the most laughable lies you've ever heard. Schumer claims the bill surrenders American energy independence to China. Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what it actually does. Now watch this pathetic attempt at deception. Check it out.
If you wanted to write a law that surrenders American independence and energy independence to the Chinese Communist Party and to the Chinese government, this is it. Look no further than this bill. China's gaining in solar, wants to dominate. If we cut off all solar production, China will dominate, and our children and grandchildren, and even many of us, will be at China's whim. China will have a grip on our energy policy. It will be outrageous. Outrageous.
We'll be in China's grip. I love watching these Democrats just freaking lie through their teeth. And the sad part is people actually listen to them. I mean, there's actually a faction of the population that believes these people. Listen, the bill unleashes American energy and saves taxpayers $500 billion by ending the Green New scam. Schumer's just protecting his Chinese donors. See, Democrats are so desperate, they're even playing the sexism card. That's right, sexism card to attack Trump's economic team. Watch. Here we have a shameful display as Representative Linda Sanchez baselessly accuses Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent of sexism simply because he corrected her blatant lie about rising prices. See for yourself.
In fact, we've already seen that prices are rising on many everyday goods.
Congresswoman,
please don't interrupt me. The time is mine. The time is mine. Please don't interrupt me. I will ask you questions and I will grant you an opportunity to answer them, but please don't interrupt me during my time.
With pleasure.
Okay, I know I'm a woman, but please try to limit yourself to answering my questions. No, I'm sorry, but we get talked over all the time, and I don't want that to happen at this hearing.
I know I'm a woman, and we get talked over all the. First of all, can you freaking define what a woman is, ma'am? Please, I'm speaking. Okay, first of all, she can't handle the truth. Under Trump, Americans are seeing the first overall price decline since 2020. Facts don't care about her feelings. All right, honey? Even the mainstream media can't hide the truth anymore. Watch as they're forced to admit that Trump's policies are delivering better than expected results on inflation, despite their desperate attempts to credit anything else. Check it out.
Well, John, look, we got another month of positive inflation news. Despite these historic tariffs, the latest numbers do show that inflation remained relatively tame in May. So the big number is the annual rate that came in at 2.4%. That is a slight acceleration from 2.3% in April, but this was better than expected.
Oh, man, CNN. I mean, I can just see all the producers in the back rooms going, damn it. Inflation numbers better than expected. We gotta report it. I mean, the numbers are there. If we know them, we're going to be called fake news. All right, there's like about 40 seconds. Let's see what else this guy has to say.
Month over month, prices were up by just 0.1%. Again, that's better than expected, and that's actually a deceleration from what we saw in April. Now, one reason why these inflation numbers came in very much better than expected is because we did see a drop in energy prices. In particular, gas prices were low. Now, economists like to look at core inflation because that excludes food and energy, but that also came in better than expected. Digging into some of the categories, we did see that egg prices, they did fall on a month-over-month basis again, so that is a good sign.
Remember when the Biden administration was manipulating the inflation numbers by removing energy and food? Remember when they were doing that? Like, no, inflation's great right now. But everyone at the grocery store going, what the hell are you talking about, Joe? Everyone's going to fill up their gas tanks and they're seeing stickers of Joe Biden all befuddled pointing at the high gas prices. I did that. And now the CNN guy's like, yeah, even when you factor the core inflation, that's doing pretty good too. Energy prices are dropping, egg prices are falling, inflation's been tamed. This is the Trump economy the media doesn't want you to see. And Secretary Bessent laid out the full vision for the one big beautiful bill in testimony that should be required viewing for every American family. Now, this is not just tax relief. It is a complete transformation of American economic policy that's designed to put you, working families, first. Check it out.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or as I will call it today, OBBB, the One Big Beautiful Bill will make the 2017 tax cuts permanent. This will provide individuals and businesses with certainty and build economic momentum. The legislation is squarely aimed at boosting the working and middle class and reinvigorating American manufacturing. According to the Council of Economic Advisors, the One Big Beautiful Bill will raise take-home pay between $7,800 and $13,300 for the average family of four. It will increase wages between $6,100 to $11,600 for the average worker, and it will cement no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and tax cuts for seniors.
Okay, there's a few seconds left here. Did you see this on the mainstream press? Did they play this clip for you? No, they didn't. And there's a reason they didn't. Because they don't want you to see the truth. Very simple.
The One Big Beautiful Bill will also incentivize unprecedented investment in U.S. manufacturing. The legislation will provide 100% expensing for new factories, as well as existing factories that expand operations and support Made in America. It will streamline burdensome permitting processes that often stand in the way of new manufacturing projects. It's time for this country to start building things again, and the OBBB makes this possible. The administration is grateful for the leadership of this committee in shepherding the One Big Beautiful Bill through the House. We are working closely with members of the Senate to get this legislation to the president's desk.
The OBBB. I haven't heard it called that yet, but hey, whatever. 100% expensing for new factories. Think about that. Streamlined permitting. Made in America incentives. This is how we rebuild the American dream. Even Wall Street experts who usually hedge their bets are admitting the obvious. Trump's energy policies are delivering exactly what he promised. Now, Louis Navillaire couldn't contain his enthusiasm about what lower energy prices mean for everyday Americans. Watch.
Lower energy prices have been a godsend, and that's why consumer inflation's at more than a 4-year low. We'll get PPI tomorrow. That's at a 5-year low. That's been severely deflationary in the last 2 months. And hopefully the Fed will start following the data instead of inventing this inflation bogeyman that hasn't materialized.
Consumer inflation at 4-year lows thanks to Trump's energy dominance. Now, the Fed's inflation boogeyman exposed as pure fiction. And here's the kicker. Even CNBC, the network that spent years attacking Trump's economic policies, just admitted there's no way, no way to spin these numbers as anything but fantastic news for Americans. Watch.
There's no way to look at these numbers and say they're not welcome news. I mean, a downside surprise to core goods is where people were looking for potentially tariff effects, and maybe except for isolated areas that Steve mentioned, you're not quite getting that. So I think it's all net.
All net benefits. When CNBC admits Trump is winning, you know the victory is total. The transformation's happening right now. While Biden's puppet masters destroyed our economy with their radical agenda, Trump is delivering real results. Manufacturing is returning, energy independence restored, woke policies crushed, middle-class tax cuts incoming. This is what making America great looks like. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this isn't just about tax cuts or economic numbers. This is about the fundamental transformation of America from a declining welfare state back to the economic powerhouse that we were meant to be. The one big beautiful bill represents everything the establishment fears. Power returning to working families, an end to the climate scam that's enriched China while impoverishing Americans, and the complete destruction of the woke agenda that's been strangling our productivity. Every single metric proves Trump's approach works. Inflation crushed, energy prices plummeting, take-home pay soaring. The Democrats have nothing left but lies and personal attacks because they can't argue with success. So here's my question for you. Should Republicans who oppose the one big beautiful bill be primaried for betraying working families? Drop your answer in the comments, and while you're fired up, make sure you check out our merch shop. We just launched some new merch. I got to show it to you right here. It is super, super cool. This is our new Autopen shirt. Check it out. Autopen, Commander-in-Chief. Look at this. This is our new shirt. Yeah, I thought you'd like that. So check out our merch shop. It's linked below. Grab one of these and show the world you stand with America's economic revival. Okay, where are we at now? Ooh, would you look at that? All right, Craig, dropping $5. We're going to get to the answer to this trivia question in a second here. Bingo, bango. What's up? $5 from Craig. And then we got Deplorable Tina. So Craig's in Nebraska reporting for duty, and Deplorable Tina, Arizona reporting for duty. Thank you guys for making this show possible. All right. President Autopen. All right, let's take a look at our answer. The answer was indeed B, Ronald Reagan. Well done. You got that right. Which president's economic policies led to the largest peacetime expansion in U.S. history during the 1980s? Ronald Reagan. His supply-side economics created 20 million jobs and 7 years of growth. 7 years. Damn. I can't wait to see the ripple effect of Trump's policies. Okay, we're going to move on to our next trivia question as we move into our next segment. Which controversial device did President Harry Truman first authorize for signing routine documents in 1956? Was it A, a telegraph key, B, a mechanical autopen, C, a rubber stamp, or D, a presidential seal? I'm going with the autopen on this one. I'm just going to go with it. 1956, the B, mechanical autopen. We'll see what the answer is on the other side of the segment. You guys can weigh in the chat, in the comments, or in the poll. The Autopen scandal keeps getting worse, and now we have got the smoking gun. President Trump just revealed exactly how to identify the forged signatures, those telltale pinholes that prove Biden never touched the documents at all. Think about it. While America burned and our borders collapsed, radical leftists were literally running the country with a mechanical signature. New testimony from Biden's own aides is about to blow the story wide open. They are being forced to answer under oath. Who controlled the Autopen? How many documents were signed without Biden's knowledge? Which pardons are actually invalid? The constitutional crime of the century is unraveling before our eyes, and the perpetrators are running scared. The evidence is overwhelming, so don't look away. And just like the Autopen mechanically signed away America's future, aging mechanically breaks down your body's collagen, the protein that holds everything together. While radical operatives use a machine to forge Biden's signature, time uses its own process to forge wrinkles and joint pain. But you can fight back against this automatic decline. Ageless multi-collagen provides 5 types of collagen to restore what time steals. No mechanical substitutes, just real collagen from clean sources. While we expose how machines hijacked our democracy, don't let aging hijack your health. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off and reclaim control naturally. You'll find it linked in the description. Okay, so the constitutional crisis we've been warning about just reached critical mass. And check this out. Here is our new shirt we just dropped in the merch shop, by the way. This is President Autopen in Chief. You can grab that in the merch shop, link down in the description. But in an explosive interview with Miranda Devine, President Trump didn't just hint at the Autopen scandal, he laid out the entire criminal conspiracy. Watch as he reveals how radical left lunatics literally hijacked the presidency using a mechanical signature device to push policies Biden himself would have never approved. This is the smoking gun that proves everything that we've been reporting. Watch.
What he did to this country was disgraceful.
What was the worst?
So much damage done to this country.
Yeah.
And we're fixing it step by step. I think we're really way ahead economically. You saw the numbers are coming out phenomenally well. But, you know, we have all of those errors. I guess you could call them unforced, or maybe you call them forced errors. The border, where they allowed 21 million people in. Many of these people should never be in this country. They're from jails and prisons all over the world. They're from mental institutions.
Why did he do that? So destructive.
Nobody can understand it. You know, they say for the votes, but I don't believe that, because they cheat and you don't have to do it. When you cheat, you don't have to do that. So destructive. And so much of what we're doing now is getting killers out of our country, taking them back to where they came from, whether it's Venezuela. And by the way, not just South America, it's all over the world. They come in from the Congo, from prisons in the Congo. They come in from places that nobody would believe, from all over the world. And a lot of times I get asked that question, why would they do that? And I can always tell you, you know, when you have an opponent or you have somebody on the other side, or you're buying a property or something, you always sort of understand, why are they selling and why are you buying it? Nobody can understand why they allowed people to come into our country totally unvetted, unchecked. No checks, no nothing, just come on in.
Do you think Joe Biden knew?
No, I don't believe so. I think it was a little bit of an Autopen deal. The people who ran this country were radical left lunatics. And I believe he was perfect. They didn't want him. They wanted Bernie Sanders. They got him. And I think for the first 2 weeks, they were really, really disappointed. They couldn't even believe it. And then they realized that you had somebody that didn't know what he was doing. They could do anything they wanted because the Autopen was the power.
The Autopen was the power. Those 5 words just rewrote American history. Biden was a puppet who didn't even know his strings were being pulled by a machine. But Trump went even further in another segment, proving the forensic evidence that proves this crime. He's not making accusations. He's showing exactly how investigators can identify Autopen fraud. The physical evidence is undeniable, and it's about to invalidate countless executive orders and pardons. Now, pay very close attention as Trump explains the telltale signs that expose this mechanical coup against our republic. Watch.
come on in.
Do you think Joe Biden knew?
No, I don't believe so. I think it was a little bit of an Autopen deal. The people who ran this country were radical left lunatics. And I believe he was perfect. They didn't want him. They wanted Bernie Sanders. They got him. And I think for the first 2 weeks, they were really, really disappointed. They couldn't even believe it. And then they realized that you had somebody that didn't know what he was doing. They could do anything they wanted because the Autopen was the power.
And you can tell where the Autopen is used, can't you?
Oh, you can see it easily, yeah. I mean, Autopens are easy to, if you know that.
How?
So, usually they have pinholes. The pinhole grabs it, boom. It's like two little pinholes. It grabs it this way. For the next one, it just signs as much as you want. In some cases, they have that. And you see it from, if you're going to look at 2 or 3 or 4, you see it's exactly the same. There's zero change. When you sign your name, everyone's a little bit different, right? When you have an Autopen, it's exactly the same.
That's a crime to do that to the country.
Well, number one, I really believe it was a crime because I don't think he knew he was doing it. I think that people took over the Autopen. They got things signed that shouldn't have been signed. I don't believe he ever wanted open borders. I don't believe, he talked as, if you go back and look a few years before, he wanted borders as tight as I did. And so they took over the White House. These people took over. They're sick. And what they've done is terrible. But the good news is we're fixing it.
The pinholes, they are the fingerprints of treason. Every identical signature is evidence of the greatest fraud ever perpetrated on the American people. And now the dominoes are falling fast. Byron Donalds just announced that 4 former Biden aides have agreed to testify before Congress. And he's coming in hot with questions that will expose the entire conspiracy. Now, remember, these are not friendly witnesses. These are co-conspirators being forced to tell the truth under penalty of perjury. Now, watch as Donalds reveals his battle plan to uncover how long they had they hid his incapacity and who was really running our government. Watch.
4 former Biden aides have agreed to testify in the investigation into the former president's mental decline. You're on the oversight committee. You're going to be asking these 4 people questions. What are you going to ask them?
My number one question is going to be, why did you hide Joe Biden from us for so long? Why did it have to take a debate on June 29 to realize he was no longer with us, when the truth is we all knew that? My other questions are, how often was he in briefings? What was the length of these briefings? Did he actually have cogent questions? Did staffers have to put him back on topic and on task, or would he ramble off or go off into corners that were making no sense? I want to know what the medical reports were for President Biden, because they would not release them to the American people. And I have a feeling in a hearing like this, initial questions are going to come, which are going to yield and actually spawn new questions that are going to arise. So this isn't going to be a one-shot hearing as far as I'm concerned. I think this is going to go on for quite some time.
So why did you hide Joe Biden from us for so long? That question alone could bring down the entire deep state apparatus that hijacked our republic. Now, the legal implications are staggering. Constitutional attorney Ed Martin just dropped a bombshell about those last-minute pardons that Biden supposedly signed. And if Biden didn't have the mental capacity to authorize his signature, every single one of those pardons, including Adam Schiff's, could be legally worthless. This is not speculation anymore. It's a constitutional crisis that could send deep state criminals back to face justice. Watch.
Absolutely. If President Biden wasn't aware and he didn't have the capacity to ask for his signature to be affixed to those last-minute pardons. I've said this publicly to Adam Schiff, that his pardon, I believe, is no good. There are no circumstances in which Biden had the 1, mental capacity, and then 2, I don't believe he was even aware someone else was doing it on his behalf. Those final days were absolutely chaos, and I think ultimately with pardon attorney USA or Ed Martin, we're going to figure out exactly what went down in that chaotic pardon office and in the White House.
Whoever controlled the Autopen controlled the White House, and now those pardons that they signed might not be worth the paper they're printed on. The criminal investigation is officially underway. When Daily Signal's reporter pressed about whether this constitutes as an impeachable offense, Press Secretary Leavitt revealed that the Department of Justice is now actively investigating the Autopen scandal. Watch as she confirms this could be a criminal offense that sends Biden staffers to prison. Watch.
Topic. President Trump has indicated that aides to former President Biden who used the Autopen to sign major orders and pardons should be investigated for potential crimes. Does he think that Biden allowing, or at least being negligently unaware of this activity, was an impeachable offense? I haven't heard the president address whether it's an impeachable offense, but it could perhaps be a criminal offense, especially on behalf of staffers who may have been utilizing the president's signature without his authority or consent. I understand that Republicans on the Hill are moving in the right direction to call attention to this and to bring in some former White House staffers who clearly knew more than they ever shared and never addressed with the American public. And so we look forward to seeing where this investigation continues. And I know the Department of Justice is also looking into the matter.
The DOJ is investigating. Criminal charges are on the table. The staffers who use Biden's signature without consent could be heading to federal prison. I mean, think about the implications here. Every executive order signed on immigration signed by a machine. Every policy that destroyed our energy independence signed by a machine. Every radical appointment, every woke directive, every economy-crushing regulation, all potentially signed without the president's knowledge or consent. This explains everything. Why Biden seems surprised by his own policies, why he contradicted his own executive orders and public statements, why his signatures were identical on documents signed days apart. The man who campaigned as a moderate was turned into a radical revolutionary by whoever controlled the Autopen. The deep state thought they could get away with it. They thought Americans were too distracted and too divided and too demoralized to notice, but Trump noticed. He saw those pinholes. He recognized the identical signatures, and now he's exposing the greatest fraud in American history. We're not talking about simple forgery. We are talking about the theft of presidential power, the subversion of our constitutional system, and the implementation of a radical agenda that the American people never voted for. Every parent who watched their child be indoctrinated with gender ideology, every worker who lost their job to an illegal immigrant, every family crushed by inflation, you were the victims of the Autopen coup. The investigation is only just beginning. Congressional subpoenas are flying. Former aides are being forced to testify. And the Autopen itself is being examined for evidence. And the list of potentially invalid executive actions grows longer by the day. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Now, the Autopen scandal isn't just about forged signatures. It's about the systematic theft of our American republic by unelected radicals who turned our president into a rubber stamp. Every crisis that we've faced, the border invasion, economic destruction, the woke takeover, all potentially engineered by shadow operators with access to a machine. Yes, this is bigger than Watergate, bigger than any scandal in our history. We're talking about a soft coup that bypassed our entire constitutional system. And the evidence is there in every identical signature, every pinhole, every policy Biden seems shocked by in his own administration. Now comes the reckoning. Pardons invalidated, executive orders nullified, criminals exposed. So here is my question for you. Should everyone who had access to Biden's Autopen face treason charges? Let me know in the comments. And remember, grab your next news gear from our shop. This is our new Autopen, President Autopen t-shirt. Show the world you stand against mechanical tyranny. Okay, let's see where the no super chats. Okay, that's fine. You guys said it was B, mechanical Autopen. That's what I thought too. And the answer is B, mechanical Autopen. Well done. Well done. 2 for 2 so far. Truman authorized its use for routine documents, never imagining it would enable a coup. All right, moving into our next topic and trivia question. Which U.S. military operation in 1992 saw Marines deployed to American streets to restore order during civil unrest? Was it A, Operation Desert Storm, B, Operation Restore Hope, C, Operation Garden Plot, or D, Operation Just Cause? 1992... I want to say C. That C seems to be the one. I could be wrong there, but that's where I'm going. We'll find out after the segment. My friends, America is under attack, but not from the outside, from within. Foreign powers are funding violent insurrection on our streets, while Democrats provide cover. And the explosive evidence is there. Chinese money, Venezuelan organizers, Iranian connections, all coordinating attacks on federal agents. Molotov cocktails flying, police cars burning, foreign flags waving over American cities. But Trump just changed the game because the war dogs are here. Battle-hardened Marines who crushed ISIS are now patrolling Los Angeles. And Senate subpoenas are flying. The funding networks are being exposed. This isn't protest, friends. It's warfare. And for the first time, we are fighting back. And what you're about to see is going to shock you. The proof is undeniable, so don't look away. And just like foreign powers are funding chaos in our streets, radical ideologies are infiltrating our children's minds through schools and media. Remember, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. And that is why I support the Tuttle Twins. They created the most effective Liberty First content for kids. Their monthly magazine teaches children about economics, liberty, and responsibility. Through comics, activities, real-world lessons that counter the woke indoctrination. While rioters burn American flags, we must teach our kids to love this country. Right now, you can subscribe for $56 a year at TuttleTwins.com/next. Buy a subscription for your grandchild, your children, your nieces, your nephews. I mean, come on, just look at this. Can you see that? Look at that. Come on. Don't let your child be indoctrinated. Teach them to think. TuttleTwins.com/next. We, our family, are happy subscribers, and you will be too. Okay, let's get into this, because the riots are spreading across America. They are not spontaneous. They are coordinated foreign-backed insurrection designed to bring down the Trump administration. Now, Patrick Bet-David, he just exposed the entire playbook in a devastating analysis that connects all the dots. This is exactly what I've been saying for days. Watch as he reveals how Democrats are desperately trying to manufacture their George Floyd 2.0 moment to frame Trump as a dictator. No doubt, Patrick Bet-David has been watching my show and taking notes. Watch.
They're losing their minds. It's great to be on with you here. They're losing their minds. But here's the thing. When you look at Gavin Newsom, it's very interesting how opportunistic he is and what his format is. Blame, deflect, get emotional, play politics, spin a little bit. The guy is such a gifted spinner. Here's a challenge that Californians have to be thinking about. California, this is the closest it's ever been to being red. This is the closest California has ever been to being a red state in a long time. So now, a lot of the people that voted for Trump, the independents, the libertarians, and the conservatives in California that voted for Trump, they want to see changes in California. Are you going to fall for this tactic? He's separating families and their kids and all this other stuff. He's doing all this other stuff. It's going to be interesting watching how California handles this, because if they succeed in getting everybody else emotional, we know what game they're playing. June 14th is President Trump's 79th birthday, 250-year army. You got Flag Day. You got all this stuff that they're doing with America. They don't want to see any of these victories taking place. Axios article came out talking about 1,500 protests they're already planning in 50 states, funded by 100 progressive organizations, a lot of different NGOs. One of the Walton billionaires, Christy Walton, name was mentioned in New York Times. This is a $19, $20 billion type of person. A lot of this money, you hear Soros, all these other things that they're doing. They're planning this. You know what they're looking for? I hate to say this. They're looking for their next George Floyd.
They're looking for their next George Floyd. 1,500 protests across 50 states. This is not grassroots anger. It's orchestrated warfare designed to provoke a tragedy they can exploit for political power. But Trump is not falling for the trap. The Department of Homeland Security just revealed the full scope of the federal response, including unprecedented military support for ICE operations. This is what protecting America looks like when the local authorities refuse to do their job. Watch.
She's absolutely being dishonest. Todd Lyons is right. We had the receipts to prove it. We notified local LAPD that these ICE operations were occurring at least 48 hours in advance. And the American people should know some of the individuals that we picked up on these ICE operations. Child rapists, child molesters, murderers, convicted arsonists, truly the worst of the worst on the streets. But my message to Mayor Bass and to Governor Newsom and these rioters that they back is that ICE will not be deterred. We will not be intimidated by this rioter violence. We will keep going. We will only ramp up ICE operations, and we will continue to get these criminals off of our streets.
Now, I do want to ask you about these photos that ICE posted yesterday. It shows ICE officers conducting an operation here in Los Angeles yesterday under the guard of the U.S. military. So the U.S. military essentially providing security for ICE. I've embedded with ICE a bunch of times, first time I've ever seen this. But can you just tell us what you're hearing from ICE agents? I assume they got to be pretty happy to have highly trained military soldiers watching their six during these operations when things have gotten so hostile out here.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. This is a whole of government approach. The National Guard, the Pentagon has been fantastic in giving our ICE operations the security and support that they need to continue to get the worst of the worst off of America's streets. And we'll continue to work together, well, whether it be in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, anywhere that these riots may break out. We will continue our operations, and we will not be deterred.
We will not be deterred. Military soldiers protecting ICE from violent mobs. This is what it takes when Democrat mayors and governors side with foreign-backed rioters over American law enforcement. The mainstream media is desperately trying to gaslight America about what's really happening on our streets. Molly Hemingway just destroyed their cheap fakes narrative in an epic takedown that exposes their entire propaganda machine. Check this out.
The New York Times is telling people, do not believe your lying eyes. Believe us, the people who spread the Russia collusion hoax, who spread conspiracy theories about Brett Kavanaugh. Believe us when we tell you that what you see on video from first-hand accounts isn't real. And as you point out, this is just weeks after they've all said, oh, we did such a bad job with Joe Biden when we said that what you saw with your own eyes was a cheap fake. And what are they doing yet again but saying this is a cheap fake? The issue, though, I think, is that unlike 2020, our corporate media no longer have the power to push this level of disinformation as effectively as they did then. People are wise to how they run operations, and they are not inclined to listen to them about this anymore. I mean, they still have power, but people understand that what they're seeing here, these riots, they don't want them to happen again, and they don't trust the corporate media.
Like Stephen A. Smith.
The same media that lied about Biden's cognitive decline is now lying about the riots. But Americans aren't falling for their deception anymore. Senator John Kennedy delivered the most savage takedown of the riot sympathizers you'll ever see. His message to Maxine Waters and the Democrats defending the chaos is absolutely brutal. Watch.
All of this is why the aliens won't talk to us. I see what you see, what the American people see. I mean, no disrespect to Congresswoman Waters, but somebody needs to tell her that the voices in her head are not real. Point two, I've listened to so many of my colleagues and members of the media say that these are mostly peaceful protests. That's like saying that Harvey Weinstein is mostly a feminist because he didn't rape every woman who came into his office. He only raped some of them. Number three, in terms of Governor Newsom, he's flip-flopped a lot, Sean, on issues, but the governor's been very consistent on one thing: his antipathy toward the lives and feelings of ordinary Americans, including public safety. Governor Newsom his record shows this. He's the dictionary definition of weenie.
I love Senator Kennedy. But I mean, he said, that's like saying Harvey Weinstein is mostly a feminist. Kennedy just destroyed the mostly peaceful lie with one devastating comparison. Meanwhile, Mayor Karen Bass is openly admitting that she values illegal immigrants over American citizens. Watch this shocking confession where she declares Los Angeles a sanctuary for criminals. Watch.
But my message to Los Angeles is we are a city of immigrants. We take pride in the diversity in our city, and it is my job as the mayor of Los Angeles to protect all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, why they came, or where they came from.
Protect all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here. She's literally putting foreign criminals before American families. Bass went even further, essentially admitting that the violence will continue until Trump stops enforcing the law. This is nothing short of holding American cities hostage to protect criminal aliens. Watch.
A week ago, everything was peaceful in the city of Los Angeles and in all of the representatives behind me in their cities as well. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place. And it's important that I begin there because that is the cause of the problems that have happened in the city of Los Angeles and other cities. This was provoked by the White House. The reason why, we don't know.
Provoked by the White House, right? She's saying the quiet part out loud, that the riots will continue until we surrender our sovereignty and let criminals run free. But here comes the cavalry. The legendary 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, the War Dogs, have arrived in Los Angeles. Now, folks, these are not your average troops. These are the warriors who crush ISIS in Fallujah and the Taliban. Watch.
The War Dogs just arrived in Los Angeles. And just in case you don't know who that is, let me catch you up. They are the 27th, or the 2nd Battalion and the 7th Marines, also known as the legendary War Dogs. And now their boots are on the ground in Los Angeles. These are not weekend warriors. These are not people that you find on Craigslist. These are battle-hardened, war-forged Marines, trained in the fires of Fallujah, Sangin, and Helmand. They have faced ISIS, Taliban, and insurgents with nothing but grit, God, and a rifle. They don't flinch. They don't blink. They don't negotiate. If you really think that rioting, looting, and tearing down cities is just a game, you're about to meet the real definition of law and order. These men eat chaos for breakfast, and they bring law and order with a steel jaw. The streets of LA are about to feel what it's like when warriors walk the streets with civilians. Not to oppress, but to restore the order that all of these rioters and looters have been causing. And this is the clear message that the military is going to send. If you're looking to cause trouble, you just invited a battalion full of it. The War Dogs are here, and the barking is over.
Battle-hardened Marines who ate chaos for breakfast are now patrolling American streets. The rioters have now met their match. Now check this out. Trevor Loudon dropped the mother lode of intelligence on who's really behind these riots. The connections to China, Venezuela, and Iran, undeniable. This is actually foreign warfare on American soil. Watch.
Yeah, well, look, these people, they're allied to China. They hate Trump. They want to bring the country to its knees, and they have branches all over the country. And they're organizing anti-ICE protests right now in Boston and New York and Tucson and Florida, wherever they have a presence. But they're also allied to the Communist Party USA, Democratic Socialist America, and a lot of Islamic radical groups as well. So this is a perfect storm, and these people seriously want to take this kinetic stuff nationwide. And I believe we are looking at a very long, hot summer, and I believe we'll have terrorist incidents, sabotage, and assassinations on American soil. I think that's where it's going, guerrilla warfare in some of our main cities.
And just to explain exactly how organized this group is, Trevor, the Freedom Road Socialist organization even has their own patrol cars that follow and harass ICE. That's a serious level of organization.
Well, look, when George Floyd was killed, it took them about 24 hours to have riots all over the country. They are very organized. They're very well funded.
Organized, well funded. Communist Party USA, Democrats, Socialists, radical Islamic networks, all working together to bring America to its knees through guerrilla warfare in our streets. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt delivered a powerful warning to any radicals thinking about joining the violence. The Trump administration will not back down. Watch.
And let this be an unequivocal message to left-wing radicals in other parts of the country who are thinking about copycatting the violence in an effort to stop this administration's mass deportation efforts. You will not succeed. Any lawlessness will only strengthen this president's resolve to defend the majority of Americans who want to live their lives peacefully, free from the fear of violent, criminal, illegal aliens. As President Trump said, order will be maintained and illegal aliens will be expelled from our country.
Crystal clear message. You will not succeed. The deportations will continue. Law and order will prevail, and America will be protected. She also dropped some truth bombs about who owns the chaos. Watch as she pins the blame exactly where it belongs, on the Democrats who enabled it. Watch.
The president views himself as the president of the United States of America. This is a constitutional republic, and we want to see all of our citizens be proud of the country in which they are given the privilege and the blessing to live. And I think that those images of foreign flags being waved by illegal criminals and by violent rioters in the face of cars blowing up and of flames in the city. I have photos of that here to show you. With this violence and destruction that occurred, is an image that Governor Gavin Newsom owns. This is his city, and President Trump saw these images, and he said that is not going to be accepted or tolerated, and hence why he deployed the National Guard and United States Marines who have helped to quell that violence.
Foreign flags waving while cars explode. This is Gavin Newsom's California, and Trump just sent in the Marines to clean up his mess. When fake news reporters tried to spin the narrative that Trump's response was about deflecting from other issues, Leavitt absolutely destroyed them with hard facts. Watch.
On just everything sort of we've seen so far with the president's response to the LA protests, there is criticism that seems to suggest that the president responded the way he did because it was a deliberate, calculated attempt to sort of shift focus away from his feud with Musk. How would you respond to that?
The president responded to the LA riots, condemning the violence
from Musk.
That's an incredibly disingenuous attack. The president saw images of Border Patrol and ICE agents being hailed with rocks and Molotov cocktails. He saw vehicles being burned to the ground with illegal aliens flying foreign flags, and that's what prompted the president to have this response that has clearly worked, because last night in Los Angeles, you didn't see many of those images. And I would add the governor and the mayor need to actually do more. I know Gavin Newsom had a big address to the nation last night. I guess he thought that's what it was for maybe his future political ambitions, but he spoke a lot of words. We haven't seen action. California has been a mess for years because of the incompetence of Gavin Newsom, so the president was responding to that only.
ICE agents hit with Molotov cocktails, vehicles burning, foreign flags flying, and the media wants to make it about politics. And Leavitt just exposed their disgusting bias. And the absurdity of the left's resistance is perfectly captured in this footage from Chicago, where their protests look more like a circus than a political movement. Watch.
We need you here, Trump. Chicago support you, Trump. Let's go, Trump. Deport them, Trump. Bring ICE here, Trump. Let's go. Bring ICE here.
And of course, Federal Plaza, shortly thereafter, as night fell, would turn into a scene of absolute madness. But you saw clown costumes at anti-ICE protests. They're not even trying to be taken seriously anymore. This is what desperation looks like. Now, let's take a look at who's funding the insurrection. The money trail leads to radical communist organizers with deep ties to foreign adversaries. Okay, take a look at this image. Bring it up on screen. Meet two of the suspects organizing and funding the LA riots. Two radical communists. Right there. The next image. Leah Greenberg, Ezra Levin. Remember those names. These communist operatives are using Soros money and foreign funds to destroy America from within. Their organization, No Kings, literally trains radicals on how to incite riots. USAID, NGOs, dark money, it's all connected. But the hammer's coming down. Senator Josh Hawley just issued criminal subpoenas to the riot organizers. Read his letter. It's a declaration of war against the insurrectionists. Bankrolling civil unrest is not protected speech. It is aiding and abetting criminal conduct. Hawley is demanding all communications, financial records, donor lists, and everything. The Senate is going after these traitors with the full force of the law. Look, this is bigger than the riots. It's bigger than protests. This is a coordinated assault on American sovereignty by foreign powers using domestic radicals as their foot soldiers. Remember, China wants us weak. Venezuela wants us divided. Iran wants us destroyed. And they're using the Democrat Party as their vehicle to achieve it. But they didn't count on Trump. They didn't count on the war dogs. They didn't count on patriots in Congress like Josh Hawley exposing their networks. And they didn't count on the American people seeing through their lies. The evidence is overwhelming. Foreign money, communist organizers, Democrat enablers, violent insurrection, all designed to stop Trump from securing our borders and saving our republic. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is the moment that defines America's future. Foreign enemies are funding violence on our streets while Democrats provide political cover for the insurrection. They want chaos. They want blood. They want to manufacture a crisis to destroy Trump and open our borders forever. But I have some bad news for them. The war dogs are here. The Senate is investigating. The funding networks are being exposed. Every American now needs to understand this is not about immigration policy anymore. This is about whether America survives as a sovereign nation or becomes a playground for foreign powers to wage their silent wars. The communist organizers, the Soros money, the Chinese connections, it's all out in the open. So here's my question. Should anyone who accepts foreign money to fund riots be charged with treason? Yes or no? Simple yes or no. Let me know in the comments. And of course, you can show your support for law and order with Next News gear from our shop. It's linked down below. This is the new shirt we just launched. Autopen, President Autopen. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we are having this problem today. Shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, sorry about that, Brian. I know what you're going to tell me. Clicking that button screws up your framing. I get it. I'm sorry. I realized it. I looked up. I thought that when you put up the frame for the shop that my shot would be in that, but I was incorrect in thinking so. All right. So no more super chats. Let's see where we're at now. Okay, so the answer, you guys said B, Operation Restore Hope. I said Operation Garden Plot. That's what I believed it was, and that was actually the answer, Operation Garden Plot. The military's domestic disturbance plan. It was used during the 1992 LA riots. Yep, that's what I had a feeling that's what it was. That's just what I remember. Okay. Okay, Tony Houston just dropped $5. Let's see what Tony has to say here. Tony wants to join the show with his comments. Dems did this. They didn't get the votes, so they got warriors in the streets. Thank you, Tony, for joining the show with your comment. And now our next trivia question. Which California governor famously declared segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, before being forced to back down by federal intervention? Was it A, Pat Brown, B, Ronald Reagan, C, George Wallace, the Alabama governor defying federal law, or D, Earl Warren? I'm going with George Wallace. That's where I'm going. Oh, wait. California, though. Ooh. Wait a minute. California governor. Okay, so George Wallace was actually Alabama governor. So, man, couldn't have been Reagan. Earl Warren, though. I could see Earl Warren maybe saying that. The Warren Commission guy. Was he a governor, though? Pat Brown? Pat Brown seems too soon. I'm going to go with Warren on this one, D. You guys say George Wallace. But we're talking about California, folks, remember. California is collapsing, and its governor is more interested in presidential ambitions than protecting citizens. While Los Angeles burns, while criminals run wild, while American families cower in fear, Gavin Newsom delivers speeches attacking Trump instead of defending his state. The footage we're about to show you will infuriate you. A governor who won't visit riot scenes, a leader who protects killers and rapists, a politician so delusional he thinks chaos is Trump's fault. But the cavalry's arrived. Federal forces are doing what Newsom won't do: protect Americans. John Voight's message, we're going to present to you as well. His message to Newsom is going viral. It's devastating. This is the fall of California's failed leadership, and you're going to see it all in real time. Now, let's be honest, though. Most guys think their testosterone is being drained by aging and bad genetics or even maybe lack of exercise. But what if I told you that's not the real reason? The real culprit's something you're likely eating every day, something you've always been told is healthy. It's not junk food or sugar. It's something way more unexpected. Just eating it a few times weekly tanks your testosterone, kills motivation, leaves you drained. The team at Sculpt Nation created Test Boost Max with 8 powerful natural ingredients to restore healthy testosterone production naturally. Watch their free video at sculptnation.com/NNN. It's linked down below. All right. So what happened here? Gavin Newsom's California is burning to the ground, and instead of fighting the flames, why is Los Angeles always frickin' burning? Instead of fighting the flames, he's playing politics. President Trump just exposed the complete failure of the Democrat leadership in the Golden State. Watch as Trump tells the brutal truth about what Newsom has done to California.
All I want him to do is do a good job. I'd rather have him do a good job than a bad job, even though politically, I guess you could take the other extreme. He's doing a poor job. He's doing a poor job with the train. How about the train that's costing like 40 times more than it was supposed to?
Yeah. Did you talk about that?
Doesn't go, I always mention, it doesn't go to San Francisco or Los Angeles. It's way short because it was too expensive to go in. The whole thing is crazy. It is the worst run, one of the worst run places. We have a lot of them. In almost all cases run by Democrats.
One of the worst run places. Trump just called out the disaster that is California under Newsom's failed leadership. Now, enter Hollywood legend John Voight, delivering the most devastating takedown of Governor Newsom you'll ever see. This Oscar winner did not hold back in his message to California's failed leader. And what he says will leave you cheering. Watch.
You're a fool blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there? Talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You? President Trump called in the National Guard and the Marines to help with these destructive, barbaric riots. All you do is cause chaos for the people. You're a disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day. And God is my witness, truth will prevail because of your faults and your incompetence for California's failures. We the people, I stand with Donald Trump to make this state great again. For we the people choose Donald Trump to save America, and we're in danger with threats from terrorists now, and we must protect our country. This has now become good against evil, and evil will lose because our President of the United States of America was sworn in to protect this nation's greatest gifts: freedom, safety, prosperity. And he will, because he is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln.
You're a fool blaming Trump, he says. You're nothing but a lying dog. Voight just said what every Californian is thinking about their pathetic governor. While California burns, Democrats in Congress are actually praising Newsom's failure. Senator Chris Van Hollen's defense of Newsom's obstruction of federal law enforcement is absolutely sickening. See for yourself.
I think Governor Newsom is stepping up to meet the moment. I support the actions that he's taking because he's pointing out that the President of the United States is abusing his office in the sense that he is throwing gasoline on the fire when presidents should be trying to de-escalate the situation. Again, local and state law enforcement authorities can hold accountable those who are committing violence and breaking the law. That is their job.
Stepping up to meet the moment by protecting violent criminals? This is the insanity that's destroying Democrat-run cities. Attorney General Pam Bondi, she just exposed the shocking truth. Newsom hasn't even visited the riot scenes. He's too busy giving presidential-style speeches to actually govern his state. Watch now Bondi demolish his negligence.
Well, Lawrence, evidently, Gavin Newsom has not been out to the scene. He has not turned on the television set to see the incredible amount of violence that is happening in Los Angeles. President Trump is going to make America safe again. We're going to protect Americans, and that includes Californians. If Gavin Newsom isn't going to protect them, we are. He also failed to declare an economic disaster. Had he done that, Kelly Loeffler and the Small Business Administration could have come in and helped all those businesses that were being looted. We could have given them federal funding, but he's refusing to help even his own small businesses in California. And if you loot a business in California during this, we're charging you with robbery under the Hobbs Act. No longer are the days of non-prosecution for looting. It's a criminal act. You've seen on the news all these stores being burglarized, vandalized. We've also seen, Lawrence, all of our police officers, all of our federal, state, local law enforcement officers being abused out there, trying to keep California safe. Jointly, we've all made over 190 arrests, more coming. If you hit a police officer, you assault a police officer, state or federal, we are coming after you.
Newsom won't even declare an economic disaster to help small businesses being looted. He's abandoning Californians while playing president. Instead of condemning the rioters, destroying his state, Newsom took to the stage to attack Trump's deportation operations. This is leadership in reverse, blaming the solution instead of addressing the problem. Watch.
Last night, Governor Gavin Newsom decided to deliver his own address. It was very much in a presidential style, no doubt, with an eye to 2028. And Gavin Newsom once again took the Trump administration to task. Listen here.
This administration is pushing mass deportations, indiscriminately targeting hardworking immigrant families, regardless of their roots or risk. What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before.
Presidential style, no doubt, with an eye to 28. Newsom's using California's chaos as a campaign opportunity. Never let a good crisis go to waste, they say. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders couldn't believe Newsom's twisted priorities, and her reaction to his insane response perfectly captures what every rational American is thinking. Watch.
I don't think he has a strong legal argument to make. Again, the fact that you're having these riots take place in the streets, and they aren't doing anything to step in and stop that, I think gives the president certain cause to go in and protect the American people and make sure that the cities in California are safe and secure. And they're certainly not going to see that happen under Governor Gavin Newsom or under Mayor Bass. We've seen their failure already play out over the last couple of weeks, and now President Trump is going to take action, as he should, to bring safety, security, and order back to the state of California.
In what world would a governor get mad at the president for stopping criminals? Sanders just exposed Newsom's absolutely crazy priorities, and the contrast could not be clearer. While Newsom delivers speeches and plays politics, President Trump is actually taking action. Federal forces are doing what California's leadership won't, protecting innocent Americans from violent mobs. This is what happens when ideology trumps common sense. Newsom is so committed to his radical agenda that he'd rather see his cities burn than cooperate with federal law enforcement. He is protecting convicted killers, rapists, all while attacking the president who's trying to remove them. The people of California are suffering under Newsom's failed leadership. Businesses are being looted, citizens are living in fear, law enforcement's being attacked, and their governor? He's giving speeches about diversity while foreign flags are flying over burning American cities? But here's what Newsom doesn't understand. His political ambitions are going up in smoke along with Los Angeles. Every American watching this chaos sees a governor who chooses criminals over citizens, who chooses politics over public safety, who chooses his career over California. And John Voight was right. Newsom is a disgrace. He's proven himself utterly incapable of protecting his state. While his dreams of the White House and his state capital turning into a war zone, all while he's attacking Trump. Trump is sending the Marines to do Newsom's job. So the failure is complete. The incompetence is staggering, and the people of California are paying the price for electing a governor more interested in virtue signaling than public safety. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now listen, this is the ultimate betrayal of public trust. While Los Angeles burns, while Americans live in terror, while violent criminals roam free, Gavin Newsom plays dress-up as a presidential candidate. He won't even visit riot scenes. He won't help businesses being looted, and he won't even acknowledge the chaos engulfing his state. Instead, he attacks the one man actually trying to restore order, President Trump. This is not leadership. It's dereliction of duty on a historic scale. Newsom has chose his political ambitions over the safety of millions of Californians. He's protecting rapists and murderers while honest citizens cower in their homes. And John Voight, calling him a lying dog, that's being generous. So here's my question for you. Let's talk about this in the comments. Should Gavin Newsom be recalled immediately for abandoning California during this crisis? Yes or no? Sound off below. Grab your next news gear to show America where you stand by visiting shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, so I think there was actually an error in this slide, because the answer was, in fact, George Wallace, though from Alabama. His defiance of federal law mirrors Newsom's current stance. So do we have that slide? Can we bring it up real quick? Yeah. Which California governor famously declared segregation now, segregation tomorrow? So, yeah, I think the slide was just a little bit wrong. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, you guys said George Wallace. But yeah, George Wallace was the correct answer because it should have been Alabama. Okay. Now, our next trivia question. Let's hope this one's right. All right. Oh, God is good all the time. Got one. Nice. Congratulations. Okay. Historical trivia question. Which president first established the Immigration and Naturalization Service, INS, the predecessor to ICE, in 1933? A. Herbert Hoover. B. Franklin D. Roosevelt. C. Harry Truman. Or D. Theodore Roosevelt? Immigration naturalization. 1933? Well, 33, I think that wouldn't that put it at Franklin Roosevelt in 33? Not Teddy. I don't know. I'm leaning on B, personally. I'm leaning on B. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if you're right. Drop your answer in the poll or in the chat or in the comments below. My friends, the Autopen coup opened our borders. Foreign-backed riots erupted to keep them open. Newsom abandoned his state to protect the criminals. And now we know exactly who they are protecting. The monsters that ICE just removed from Los Angeles streets will shock you to your core. Now listen, these aren't working families. They're convicted killers, child predators, violent gang members who've terrorized Americans for years. And while Marines restore order and Senate subpoenas fly, Democrats are literally fighting to keep these animals on your streets. The mugshots, they tell the story. The criminal records are even worse. Vietnamese murderers, Mexican cartel enforcers, predators who prey on children. This is who the left calls immigrants. The evidence is devastating. Watch closely. And while Democrats protect violent criminals who destroy communities, your joints might be crying out from years of wear and tear. Whether it's from hard work, exercise, or just life catching up, joint pain can make every day feel like a battle. And that's where Dr. Josh's turmeric discovery comes in. This isn't your average turmeric supplement. It is a breakthrough formula that targets inflammation at its source. Just like we need strong borders to protect America, you need strong joints to protect your mobility. Don't let pain slow you down. Watch the free video at goldenrevive.com/NNN and discover how to fight back naturally. All right, buckle up, folks, because the truth about who Democrats are protecting is finally getting exposed, and it's worse than anyone imagined. Fox News obtained the rap sheets of these immigrants that the left is desperately protecting, and the list will make you physically ill. Now, these aren't families seeking better lives. They are the worst criminals on the planet. Watch.
Tonight, why don't we introduce you, this was on FoxNews.com, to some of the other criminal illegal aliens that the left is so desperate to keep in your country, that Gavin is fighting for, Karen Bass is fighting for. First up, Jose Ortiz from Ecuador, previously sentenced to 11 years in prison after getting caught with 11 kilos of cocaine. That's close to $500,000 worth of cocaine. Next up is Armando Ordaz, who is a suspected gang member from Mexico. Now, Armando is a convicted sex offender and a thief. Then, of course, there's Victor Mendoza Aguilar from Mexico, who previously was deported in 2017. This suspected gang member served time for drug charges and deadly assault with a deadly weapon, among other crimes. And here is Delfino Aguilar Martinez from Mexico. He was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury. Next up is Eswin Ariel Castro, who was also previously deported. Castro has convictions for child molestation, has also been arrested for robbery, domestic violence. And look at your screen. This is Lionel Sanchez Laguna. His crimes include battery to a spouse, cruelty to a child, shooting into a house, assault with a firearm, and a DUI on top of that. We could go on and on. I have pages and pages and pages of people that they are arresting.
Child molesters, spouse abusers, gang members who shoot into houses. These are the neighbors Democrats are rioting to protect. Even the mainstream media can't hide the truth anymore. ABC 7 was forced to confirm the violent criminal histories of those arrested, including convicted murderers. Their own archives prove these monsters have been terrorizing communities for decades. Watch.
Dozens arrested, but who are they? One person now in ICE custody is 49-year-old Kung Chon Phan. The feds say the Vietnamese national's criminal history includes second-degree murder. We confirm that through both court records.
I heard 8 gunshots.
And our own archives. Eyewitness News was there in 1994 when police say Kung committed the crime in the San Marino home.
3 cars pulled up in front of this home. 8 to 12 teenage gang members emerged from the cars, and at least 3 of them began firing randomly at people attending the party.
ICE also gave us the name and rap sheet of 44-year-old Armando Ordaz of Mexico. We confirmed his criminal history does in fact include rape, sexual battery, and petty theft.
Vietnamese murderer from 1994, Mexican predator with multiple violent convictions. ABC confirms what Democrats desperately want hidden. President Trump discussed these deportations with Miranda Devine, revealing the overwhelming support from Americans who want these criminals gone. And the contrast with Democrat priority could not be clearer. Watch.
And the riots in LA, I mean, again, 75% of Americans polls show want deportation of illegal alien criminals. What are the Democrats doing defending them?
They can't defend it. They can't defend transgender for everybody. They can't defend men and women's sports. These aren't 90-10. These aren't 80-20 like they say. These are literally, I think, 97-3, most of them. They don't want people pouring into the country unchecked, unvetted from prisons and from mental institutions. They don't want this. They want their country back. They really want their country back.
Foreign flags. What did you think when you saw
Well, I mean, you had every flag up other than American flags. And I happen to think if you burn an American flag, because they were burning a lot of flags in Los Angeles, I think you go to jail for 1 year.
75% of Americans want these criminals deported, but Democrats are burning American flags to keep them here. Foreign flags over American safety. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt displayed the rogues gallery of monsters removed from the LA streets. Each face represents countless American victims, countless families destroyed by Democrat sanctuary policies. Watch.
Sanctuary cities and states will no longer be allowed to shield illegal criminals from deportation. Just take a look at some of the illegal monsters who were taken off the streets in Los Angeles in recent days. A Vietnamese national, a known gang member with a conviction for second-degree murder. A Mexican national with convictions for child molestation who was armed with a dangerous weapon and had previous arrests for robbery and domestic violence. A Filipino national with convictions of rape, assault, burglary, and theft. A Mexican national convicted of statutory rape, narcotics violations, and hit and run. A Nicaraguan national with convictions for domestic violence and hit and run and a previous arrest for willful cruelty to a child. And an illegal alien from Mexico who was arrested after allegedly throwing a Molotov cocktail at law enforcement officers during the Paramount riots on Saturday. He is now being charged with attempted murder. Law-abiding American citizens do not want these public safety threats living in their communities, no matter what Democrats like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom may claim. And let this be an unequivocal message to left-wing radicals in other parts of the country who are thinking about copycatting the violence in an effort to stop this administration's mass deportation efforts. You will not succeed. Any lawlessness will only strengthen this president's resolve to defend the majority of Americans who want to live their lives peacefully, free from the fear of violent, criminal, illegal aliens. As President Trump said, order will be maintained and illegal aliens will be expelled from our country.
Vietnamese gang killer, Mexican child predator, Filipino violent offender, Nicaraguan child abuser, all protected by sanctuary laws until Trump acted. Now, the administration looks like we had a glitch. Sorry, Brian. I'm going to come back from the clip here, okay? Vietnamese gang killer, Mexican child predator, Filipino violent offender, Nicaraguan child abuser, all protected by sanctuary laws until Trump acted. The administration isn't backing down. Leavitt made clear that the mass deportation effort will continue and expand, with the One Big Beautiful Bill providing funding for even more ICE agents to remove these threats. Watch.
The Trump administration is going to continue the mass deportation effort that the president promised the American public. Many of you were at those rallies in cities and communities across the country when the president spoke about his commitment to removing violent illegal criminals and anyone who has broken our nation's immigration laws from American communities. And God bless our ICE and Border Patrol who are working hard on that effort. This administration is going to continue that. And it's part of the reason we do need the one big beautiful bill to pass as well, may I add, because the bill provides funding to hire more ICE agents and Border Patrol agents, more personnel on the ground to conduct this important public safety work.
God bless our ICE and Border Patrol agents who face rocks and Molotov cocktails to protect American families from these monsters. The numbers are staggering. Since June 6th alone, 330 illegal aliens have been arrested in these operations, 113 with prior criminal convictions. And someone is funding their professional riot gear and organized resistance. Watch.
Since June 6th, there have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in Los Angeles. 113 of those illegal aliens had prior criminal convictions. And overall, and this includes arrests of American citizens, there's been 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including the attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail. So who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's a question everyone in this room who cares about truth should be asking. And we encourage your help in trying to get to the bottom of that question.
Good luck getting their help. Professional riot gear, organized violence, attempted murder of police. Who is bankrolling illegal alien criminals to attack our law enforcement? When pressed about whether Republicans might weaken on deportation, the administration's response was crystal clear that nothing will stop the removal of these criminals from American streets. Watch.
First, a few Republicans on Capitol Hill are suggesting that President Trump scale back deportations, even as ICE is reportedly gearing up for raids in 5 more Democrat-led areas. Would anything dissuade President Trump, and would he consider sending in Marines if anti-ICE violence occurs in these cities?
Well, I think I may have just answered both of your questions with my opening monologue. The Trump administration is going to continue the mass deportation effort that the president promised the American public. Many of you were at those rallies in cities and communities across the country when the president spoke about his commitment to removing violent illegal criminals and anyone who has broken our nation's immigration laws from American communities. And God bless our ICE and Border Patrol who are working hard on that effort. This administration is going to continue that. And it's part of the reason we do need the one big beautiful bill to pass as well, may I add, because the bill provides funding to hire more ICE agents and Border Patrol agents, more personnel on the ground to conduct this important public safety work.
The deportations will accelerate, more agents are coming, and every criminal alien will be removed. The One Big Beautiful Bill ensures it. Even radical Maxine Waters is panicking because she knows Trump is keeping his promise to remove every last criminal alien from our communities. Watch.
He has a responsibility in all of this. He started this. There should be no violence. He should not continue to support violence. They should not be edged on and, provoked in any way, and that's what the President of the United States is doing, to exert his power and to show that he's in charge and to show that he's going to get the numbers that he promised to get people deported. And so you know him, everybody knows him.
He's going to get the numbers he promised. Even Maxine admits Trump is delivering on deporting criminal killers and predators. This is the culmination of everything that we've exposed. The Autopen coup that opened our borders, the foreign-backed riots to keep them open, Newsom's refusal to protect his citizens, all of it leads here to the protection of the most violent, dangerous criminals imaginable. These are not asylum seekers. These aren't families. These are killers, predators, and gang members who've destroyed American communities while Democrats provided sanctuary. Every single crime committed by these monsters is blood on the hands of every politician who protected them. But the tide has turned. The war dogs have arrived. ICE is unleashed. The funding networks are exposed, and the criminal aliens are being removed. And no amount of rioting, no amount of media lies, no amount of Democrat obstruction will stop it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. It's time for my final thought. Listen, everything connects. The Autopen coup that opened our borders without Biden's knowledge. The foreign-funded riots to keep them open. Newsom's betrayal of California, all orchestrated to protect the most vicious criminals ever to plague American streets. Vietnamese killers, Mexican cartel predators, monsters who prey on children. These are not immigrants Democrats are willing to burn cities for. Every American victim, every terrorized family, every child who suffered at their hands, that blood is on the Democrats who gave them sanctuary. But justice has arrived. ICE is hunting them down. The Marines are backing them up. The deportation machine is running at full speed, and nothing will stop it. So here's my question for you. Should any politician who protected these criminal aliens face prosecutions as accessories to their crimes? Drop your answer below. If you want to support our work at the Next News Network, go and check out some of our new merch, our Autopen shirt, which we just dropped. I'm going to bring it up on screen here for you, Brian. It is linked down below at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. I thought I pressed the button. Did I press the button? Was I in focus? I wasn't in focus, that's why. Damn it. Okay, so let's go to our answer. Oh, my Texas gal dropped $3.99. Character handing over a cup of coffee saying, "For you." $3.99. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right there. Thank you, Texas gal, for the cup of coffee. Yeah. I kind of feel a little tired tonight. All right. So, yes, the answer, you guys said B, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and that's what I believed as well. Franklin D. Roosevelt created the INS in 1933, consolidating immigration enforcement under one agency. Okay, so I want to do some real quick news here. We just got some word about something happening in Israel and Iran. Just want to check some of the latest news on that. And then we got to lock up this show. Okay, so this just in. Trump has given Israel the green light. U.S. Embassy in Iraq preparing for an ordered evacuation. This is 1 hour ago. I believe Trump has given Israel the green light to take out Iran's nuclear facilities. Fox News host Pete Hegseth. Fox News host, listen how they refer to him, urged the evacuation of military dependents from the Middle East due to escalating tensions with Iran, citing potential parallels. The world's on the brink of nuclear war. Israel may attack Iran in the near future. That's what Reuters writes. U.S. preparing to evacuate Iraq embassy over regional security risks. Is Iran preparing to test a nuclear bomb? Here's another question being raised. Let me bring up the big chat here. Make it easier to see. Is Iran preparing to test a nuclear bomb? U.S. Embassy in Iraq begins emergency evacuation. U.S. prepares to evacuate personnel from Kuwait. U.K. warns all tankers and vessels to stay alert when crossing the Persian Gulf. 44% chance. That's what the betting markets are saying. Some visuals of air traffic over the areas of Baghdad and Kuwait. Let's see what else is being talked about here. According to IAEA data, not in Israel, Iran has stockpiled roughly 408 kilograms of uranium enriched up to 60% purity, enough for several nuclear weapons if further enriched. Enriching uranium is 60% by far the most technically complex and time-consuming step in the nuclear process. Abdul Alal al-Walay, leader of the Iran-backed Iraq Saeed al-Sharuda brigades with the popular mobilization forces, declared if war breaks out, we will humiliate America. Is that right? Open source intel. An hour ago, U.S. intelligence assessments suggest Iran-backed militias in Iraq and across the region are preparing to strike American interests. Oh, boy. CBS U.S. officials say Israel is fully prepared to strike Iran, and Washington is expecting possible Iranian retaliation against American targets in Iraq. This suggests the U.S. has already supplied all the weapons required for the strike. 4 hours ago, a Muse post-war, the U.S. has ordered all embassies within Iran's reach, including those in the Middle East, North Africa, parts of Eastern Europe, to activate emergency action committees and submit updated risk mitigation plans to Washington. This directive prompted today's evacuation. The United States is now on high alert in anticipation of a potential Israeli strike on Iran. MJ Truth Ultra, 7 hours ago, something's going down. Eyes on. It's likely connected to Trump stating he doesn't feel confident about making a deal with Iran after meeting with military generals at Camp David. President Trump says the United States will not allow Iran to have nuclear weapons in response to reports that U.S. personnel are being moved out of the region. Here's Trump. Trump was at the Kennedy Center tonight seeing Les Mis, the opening night there. And here's his question from the reporter, his answer from the reporter.
The temperature. Could you provide an update on Iran? We're hearing reports that U.S. personnel are being moved out of the region within striking distance.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are been. We've given notice to move out, and we'll see what happens.
Is there anything that can be done to dial the temperature down in the region?
They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simply, they can't have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to allow that.
Could you provide an update on?
We're not going to allow that. And what else is here? Iran just posted this. We are ready. Iran posting their war plans on X. Okay, so this is not an official Iranian government account. Okay, good to know. Eric Doherty, why are U.S. dependents of military personnel being evacuated?
Mr. President.
So all this is happening in real time. All right, folks. I want to thank you for joining the show. We're going to keep monitoring all this. But what we've exposed today should shake every American to their core. We start with Trump's economic boom. The one big, beautiful bill that's putting thousands back in your pockets while Democrats scream about fake inflation numbers. But that was only the beginning. We revealed the greatest constitutional crime in our history. Joe Biden's presidency hijacked by radical operatives using an Autopen to sign away America's future. Executive orders, pardons, border policies, all potentially forged while Biden sat clueless in the White House. Those identical signatures, those telltale pinholes, they're evidence of a soft coup that bypassed the entire democratic process. Then we showed you the foreign-backed insurrection erupting on our streets. Chinese money, Venezuelan organizers, communist agitators, all coordinating violent riots to stop Trump's deportation. But the war dogs have arrived. 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, battle-hardened from crushing ISIS, now patrolling Los Angeles. Josh Hawley is serving criminal subpoenas. The funding networks are now exposed. And then we exposed Gavin Newsom's total abandonment of California. While the state burned, while citizens cowered in fear, he gave presidential-style speeches attacking Trump. He won't visit the scenes. He won't help looted businesses. He's protecting violent criminals while playing politician. And John Voight called him a lying dog. And that's being kind. Finally, we revealed the monsters Democrats are protecting. Vietnamese murderers, Mexican predators who prey on children, gang members who've terrorized communities for decades. These are not immigrants. They're an occupying army of criminals that Democrats invited in and desperately want to keep. But here's what gives me hope. Americans aren't falling for it anymore. 75% want these criminals gone. The media's cheap fakes aren't working. Parents are protecting their kids from woke indoctrination. Workers are rejecting the climate scam, and patriots are standing up. So to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight, thank you. Your voice matters. Your support keeps independent media alive. Thank you, everybody. This is bigger than politics. Remember this. This is about whether America survives as a sovereign nation or becomes a playground for foreign enemies and their criminal foot soldiers. The Autopen coup tried to steal our country. The riots tried to keep it stolen. But Trump, our military, and brave ICE agents and patriots like you are taking it back. Keep spreading the truth. Text this show to everyone you know. Hit up our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show the world where you stand, because the fight is not over. It's only beginning. And thank you for joining the Raw feed. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and we will see you on the next show. God bless America.